Welcome to the second of 3 videos on the subject of goal setting. The end of the year is coming and it's time to start looking at what we've achieved this year and what we set our sights on for next year. Now in the first video I talked about some of the limitations of a traditional format we use to set goals, which is the narrow measurable format, like we want to reduce customer turnover by 2% next year. There's nothing wrong with a goal like this, but as I discussed last time, that goal, stated that way, doesn't include a lot of information that the people who have to achieve it will need to be successful. Specifically, it doesn't really describe what success looks like. Now, in this video, I want to talk about a way to format our objectives that does provide this additional information. And I'm talking about intentions and setting intentions. Now, intentions are broader than goals. And so they can actually include goals. I'll give you an example of how this might differ from the goal I just talked about. The goal might be to reduce customer turnover by 2%. A higher intention that might achieve that, but many other things, might be increasing customer loyalty. Now we think about, well, what does increasing customer loyalty look like? What does that successful intention look like when it's been met? Well, it can actually look like a whole lot of things. It might look like reduced customer turnover, but it might also look like increased revenue per customer, or more frequent purchases per customer, or more customer references, or all of the above. We might also begin to distinguish between loyal customers and non-loyal customers, and the customer turnover metric might be more important to our loyal customers than those who are not. So if we set an intention for customer loyalty and we include under that measurable goals like customer turnover, revenue per customer, purchases per customer, references per customer, etc., and we hand that over to the people who have to achieve it, we've now given them a lot of rich information and context to work with. We've also given them a lot of flexibility, because one of the things that we know is that things next year will be different than we think they will be. So life will happen. Things will intervene. A product launch won't go well, or the company, the acquisition might go through sooner than expected or later than expected. And all of these factors, the people on the ground are going to have to work with as life changes. And when they're trying to achieve an intention, they have a lot more flexibility because they have a broader definition of success. And they can bob and weave with reality a lot more fluidly. Now it works this way in our personal lives too. I'll give you an example. In the last video I talked about how you might set a personal goal for yourself to get 30 more minutes of sleep a night. This is a good thing, nothing wrong with that. But then there's reality. If you set an intention that's related to that, say to be more rested and more present, then when life intervenes, maybe you're working on a really big project with a huge deadline and you just cannot get more sleep, but your intention to be more rested and present might encourage you to get up every hour and walk around the block and take a mental break, take a physical break. These things are shown by research to help our productivity. Well, if you're just focused on getting more sleep, you might actually work through all those potential breaks, and you might still not achieve more sleep, and even if you do, you might still be more drained. But by setting a broader intention that has an emotional component to what success looks like, which is that you're rested and you're present, then you can find ways of achieving it that fit inside of whatever reality delivers you. And that's the strength of intentions. They give you more information. They give you emotional information and contextual information. And when you give these intentions to your teams, it gives that information to them as well. So they have a lot more to work with when they're trying to deal with reality and the fluidity and the unpredictability of reality. Now what I would challenge you to do at the end of this video, like I did at the end of the last one, is look back this year over what you did achieve and look at how many of your achievements really were birthed out of these kind of intentions. So not just someone handing you a goal or you setting yourself a narrow goal, but you having an intention around success and what that looked like more holistically, so that you had more information to deal with reality when it came at you, and to find a way to achieve the intention that maybe you didn't even imagine when it first started out, but because you had that broader context for success, you were able to find a way to achieve it.